Thank you so much for coming to the last session of Google I/O. We understand that we're the only thing standing between you and happy hour, so we're going to try to keep this interesting. My name is Lane. I'm a product manager on monetization at YouTube, and this is AJ.
Hey, I'm AJ Crane. I'm the product manager for YouTube channels.
Cool. So for the next 40 minutes, this is what we're going to talk about. First, we're going to talk about some interesting statistics and why your business should be on YouTube. Secondly, we're going to talk about 3 examples of businesses that are creating great content that feels a lot like the rest of the content on YouTube and not like traditional commercials. And then we're going to bring up a special guest from the audience to demo how you can get set up with your presence on YouTube once you have that great content. And then finally, we'll answer some questions. Okay, so let's get started. First, I want to just kick off with a stat. So recently we announced that we have 1 billion visitors on YouTube every month. So if you think about it, it's pretty astounding. There are about 2 billion connected internet users around the world. So we have 1 in 2 of those internet-connected users visiting the site every month. And it's clearly not just a US phenomenon. So about 70% of our visitors come from outside the US. Cool, so we know there's a huge audience on YouTube. I don't think that number is a huge surprise to anyone here. But what are they doing? Well, they're watching video and they're also sharing video. So every minute, about 700 videos get shared on Twitter alone. So in the course of the next 40 minutes, about 28,000 videos will be shared. So we know that sharing happens on Twitter, we know it happens on email, we know it happens on other social properties, and it happens on YouTube. So this huge audience is watching and they're sharing. Right, so users are watching and they're sharing, but how do we continue as a platform to get great content on YouTube? So a key to making this ecosystem work in the long term is making sure that partners, those people that actually create the content that you watch, can make a living off of this, can bring their content to YouTube, quit their day jobs, and do what they love. Right? So recently we announced that we have over 1,000 partners making over $100,000 a year. And to us, this means more people can come on the platform, create content, and quit their day jobs or whatever they were doing before. And then one last stat I want to highlight. So recently, Nielsen announced that in the US, we reach more 18 to 34-year-olds than any other cable network. So if you think about how your customers are shifting to mobile and how they're shifting online, this is pretty critical that you actually have a presence on YouTube where this target audience for you, potentially these 18 to 34-year-olds, are spending time watching video and sharing. Okay, so there's a huge audience on YouTube, and they're watching and sharing videos, and key audiences for businesses like yours, the 18 to 34-year-olds, are coming online to view video. So why does this actually matter? Why are we here talking about it? We believe fundamentally, and we've seen this examples that will show, that sight, sound, and motion is really the best way to communicate your value to users and build a longer-term relationship. So that sounds really abstract, but let me talk about what I mean. So I'm going to tell 3 stories. The first story is, the other day my friend Douglas shared a video with me. And I'm going to play it quickly, and then we'll talk about why it's relevant for all businesses and what we can learn from it.
Teach me how to brush your They be like mouth. What? Can you teach me how to brush it? You know why? Cause all my teeth love me. Okay. All I need is a brush of good condition. And for you to use toothpaste and brush it. Hey. Put your arms out front, brush it up and down. Germs be leaving when they see you on that brushy ride. Ain't no black and tartar living in my mouth tonight. You gotta brush it right until the morning light. Okay, pull out your string and it's time to get your flossy on. Get at the food, make your gums grow.
All right, so why did Douglas share this video with me? What's interesting about this? So most of us don't seek out dental content on YouTube like this, but there are two things that I think are relevant for all businesses. One is, this is really the target audience. They're reaching the target audience with relevant content. So at the time, Teach Me How to Dougie was hot, the song Teach Me How to Dougie. And instead of creating a boring video about how flossing is important or brushing your teeth is important, they got in the middle of the conversation with those teenagers that they were trying to reach. And I think this is something that all businesses, again, can learn from. So remember, be relevant, and when you can, be entertaining. There are lots of companies, large and small. They range from small startups like Dollar Shave Club all the way to established brands like Oreo. And the common thread between all of them is that they're following the trends, they're being relevant to conversations that are happening outside of their given industry. Okay, second story. So last week I was going out to dinner with my wife, and I walked into the living room, and she has a laptop next to her and a scarf in her hand, and she's watching this video. So let me play just a snippet of this video, and then we'll talk about what other marketers can learn from this.
Oh.
Thankfully, that video played. So this video is created by a company here in San Francisco called ModCloth. And ModCloth sells things like dresses and scarves. But the other thing that they do, in addition to selling products, is that they create great, fun, quick, how-to content like this. So in this case, my wife wanted to know how to tie the scarf that she had bought that day into something cool that she could wear to dinner. So again, ModCloth creating that content that she'll come back to later because she learns to trust the brand for how-to type content. So keep in mind, as a business owner, you're likely the expert in your field. I think we forget that sometimes as business owners. Teach people about your area of expertise. You know more than a lot of users about it. And that's a great opportunity to build credibility with your audience. And I actually really believe that this is one of the easiest ways for businesses to start creating content. Whether it's demoing an app or whether it's showing your product in an interesting way, this is something that most businesses can do. And we've seen everyone from Airbnb to Shopify to Revzilla get in the middle of these conversations by teaching something that people already wanted to know how to do. Okay, final story. So my friend Hunter loves sharing videos. I think we all have friends like that send us too many videos. And a while back, he shared this video with me, and it's about skateboarding. So I want to show just a snippet of this, and then again, we'll talk about why it's relevant for all businesses. All right, so why did Hunter share this video with me? And why did I end up sharing it with my friends? because it's interesting. It's inspirational. For those of us that love getting outside and doing alternative sports, this is something that inspires us to go do that, right? And it's in video form with sight, sound, and motion. But there's two other things I want to call out about this video that break the mold a little bit. One, it's over 6 minutes long. So traditionally, business owners have thought, I have 15 or 30 seconds to tell my message. And look, it's great to tell your message quickly, but this is an example of longer form content that users actually seek out and try to watch. And they also share it with their friends because it's good content. Secondly, and I'm not sure if you caught this, but in the title card, it said part 4. So the interesting thing about this is that Original Skateboards, they're creating episodic content. This isn't just one viral video or something, right? They're creating a whole series of videos. So as a user, I know I'm watching part 4, but I can come back to the channel again and again and get the other episodes. Okay, so remember, when you can, tell inspiring stories. Every business has a story, and some of the best videos that we see from business owners are explaining to users why they matter, right? And there are plenty of examples like Dove and GoPro and TRX that do this exceptionally well. So if you're looking for ideas, check them out. Okay, so there are lots of different types of content that you can create as a business, and we've seen them all. But here are just 3 that we've seen succeed with businesses both small and large. So first, be relevant to conversations that people are having outside of your industry. I think sometimes we get a little insulated. And second, show people something that they want to know how to do, right? Demo your product in an interesting way or teach something. Third, I think there's a huge opportunity to inspire people, right? This aspirational content is a great way to draw users back in. Okay, so why did we just talk about content? Fundamentally, we believe that creating great content is the foundation for success as a business on YouTube. And I encourage you, when you think about your normal content strategy or how your marketing strategy works, to think about video and creating content that feels more like the other content on YouTube and less like a commercial. So AJ is going to walk you through some tactics and bring up a special guest and talk through what it looks like to build your presence on YouTube after you've created content.
Thanks. So having great content is clearly the most important thing. But there's some other optimizations you can make to make sure that people are finding your content and to make sure that your subscribers are staying engaged. So we've actually bucketed these tips into 2 buckets. First, we'll start with optimizations you can make to get your channel set up and running. And then second, we'll talk about some activities you can think about on an ongoing, maybe weekly basis to make sure that people are staying engaged. So for this first part, we actually have one of our top channels in the audience, and they've been kind enough to let us set up their channel in the new one-channel design, which launched in March. And we'll also show you guys some other tips too. So I wanted to bring up Scott from Original Skateboards.
Okay, music.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming up. So before we get started, it would be great if you could just tell the audience a little bit about Original Skateboards and how you guys got started on the platform.
Well, I mean, we've been around since 2002, and I think since the beginning, we really loved 3 things. We loved skateboarding, making skateboards, and watching skateboarding videos. So we started in my parents' garage when I was 19, and we kind of did things the old-fashioned way for about 5 years. We were cruising around, stopping at every surf and skate shop we could find, and sleeping in a van sometimes down by the river in between motels. But yeah, I mean, it was really hard to get the word out. It took a long time to drive up and down the East Coast and all the way out here out west. And you know, we met some really great people. But at some point, we realized that, hey, we actually wanted to create stuff that we could watch ourselves. So we'd been watching skateboard videos all of our lives, but we really didn't have any of ourselves. So we actually started creating videos not for YouTube, because this was before YouTube existed. The first videos that we created with Nick Patrick, who's our amazing videographer, they were for us. So when we finally did find out about YouTube, we had the content, and the content was set up as something that we loved. So, your harshest critic is always going to be yourself. So we'd been really critiquing a lot of this stuff, and by the time we found some place that happened to be YouTube to upload it, it was about 2007, and we uploaded it, and we're really questioning whether or not anyone would ever watch it. And I think about 700 people watched it that day, and we were like jumping up and down. It was kind of like insane. 700 people, do you know how many people that is? Yeah, and then the next day, we were all like, oh, that's great, so a bunch of people watched it, but that's not going to help pay the bills. And the next day, we woke up, and we had like 2 orders, which was totally different, because we never really sold anything at night. So we were like, hey, where'd those come from? That's kind of weird. Must just like strange coincidence. But the same thing happened that day, and pretty much that day, our business went up 40% overall, and it never went down. It was like every day it went up just like a little bit more. And it took us a little while to figure out that was pretty much due to YouTube. But what was happening is I think people were connecting to our content because we loved it, and we were really creating something that we connected to personally. So when you found someone through YouTube that was like us, they connected to it also. And then that just brought us closer together with the people that support us. And we started building this little community, and
awesome.
Now here we are with 500,000 subscribers, hopefully tomorrow, which is just like totally insane, totally nuts. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much. So why don't we get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna, I guess we can take a seat.
Yeah,
First
why not?
thing that we're gonna set up is video branding. So most often people will come to your videos because someone shared it or they found the video through search. So when people are landing directly on your videos, it's really important that your brand shines through right in the video because they may not have seen your channel, of course. So we recently launched a new feature that makes this really easy to do. It's called in-video programming. And what it allows you to do is overlay either your channel icon or your logo directly on all of your videos. And it's interactive, so when someone clicks on it, they can go directly back to your channel and find more videos to watch or subscribe. So the great thing about doing this kind of through the tool versus burning it into your videos is that it's interactive, which I already mentioned, and that if your logo ever changes for whatever reason, you won't need to like re-upload all of your videos. You can just change it in mass at once. So Scott's team was kind enough to provide a logo beforehand. So here we are in the in-video programming interface, and we can feature your channel. So by default, we'll show your channel icon here. But as I mentioned, you can also upload a custom logo.
Hopefully transparent.
Yeah, transparent will look better. And there we go. So then we just need to answer a couple other questions. You can choose to display it in any corner. Which one do you like?
Probably top right's good. I don't think that's going to go over the title card, so that's good.
Nice. And then you can choose to have it show in the beginning, end, or for the whole thing.
Probably the whole thing, assuming that it doesn't go over the title card.
Perfect. OK, so that's done. So let's check it out back in this video that we were playing. And there it is. So now it's really easy for anyone to get back to your videos, or to your channel page. OK, so if branding your videos is really important, the next most important thing is branding your channel page. So we launched a new feature with the one channel design called channel art. And the coolest thing about channel art is it works on all devices. And this is actually a big upgrade from the previous design where branding was really only a desktop feature. So I actually took a few screenshots of the original Skateboards channel in the current old design. And as you can see here, the brand really doesn't transfer through to the other devices. And that's our fault, because the asset really only works on desktop. It's kind of the gutters, and there are no gutters on mobile or on TV. So we thought about maybe offering different images for each platform, but that wasn't going to work either, because that would be kind of a moving target. With new device sizes coming out every month, we'd have to constantly hound people like Scott for new assets, and no one would like that.
And we probably won't get them done.
Yeah. So instead, we've designed channel art to be a single, simple asset that can be cropped and scaled to work on all devices. So let's set that up on your channel.
Sounds good.
So the first thing we'll do is opt into the new design. So ready to do it?
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
change it.
OK, so this is your channel in the new design. The first thing it's asking us to do is add this channel art. So you can really easily choose the image you guys created.
And it was actually great. We are lucky enough to have a great designer, but there's some really awesome guidelines that you can look up on how to actually create art like this so that it scales and works really well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you get a quick preview, so you get an idea of how this image is going to be used on all 3 devices. And as Scott mentioned, there's also templates available if you want to make it pixel perfect. So let's apply the image, and there we go. So I'm assuming you guys probably want to drive people back to originalskateboards.com in case they want to buy a board.
That would be good, or come and check out our dealer list and find a skateboard shop near them and then go buy a board.
Awesome. OK, so we can overlay a link back to their website by going to the About tab and checking this box to overlay the first link on your channel art. So there we go. So now their channel art is all set up, and it should be working across all devices. So we've branded the videos and branded the channel. So next, let's organize your content. So the primary goal of this channel page, other than showing your brand, is obviously to help viewers find your videos and get them to watch more of your content. So the new channel design has a feature called sections, which make it really easy to see the different types of content and for viewers to browse and find something to watch. So let's add a couple sections to your channel. So how do you guys think about like what kinds of content do you want to feature?
Well, I mean, we actually do a lot of different kinds of videos. I mean, everything from the kind of like ride inspiration, like just get people excited to go out and have fun, like you guys showed earlier in Go Longboard, to travel series, to informational videos about the products. So
put Go Longboard on there?
Yeah, definitely. It's episodic and by far our most viral series for sure.
All right. And then you also mentioned the viral videos.
Yeah, definitely. That kind of has videos other than Go Longboard in it, but does include Go Longboard also, so that's perfect too.
Cool. And then last one was the...
Yeah, we have the product checkouts playlist, which is just a great place to go and kind of be walked through what makes our boards special. So I think that's a really great one to have up there.
Awesome. All right, so which one do you want to be on top?
Probably viral videos first, and then product checkouts second, and then Go Longboard.
Perfect. All
Awesome.
right, so there you go. So now all of this content's laid out in a really easy-to-browse fashion, and viewers can come and scroll through this and really easily find the next video they want to watch. So if getting viewers to watch videos is our primary goal, a very close second here is getting them to subscribe. Subscribers to your channel are going to watch more of your videos, and they're going to come back to your channel more often. So it's really worth it to invest in getting people to subscribe. So the best way that we can do this is by showing them a video. So the new channel design has a video player that only appears to unsubscribed viewers. So this gives you the opportunity to play a video that can really pitch people on why they should subscribe. So Scott's team created a trailer, so let's add this in. This one?
Yeah, and hey, we just put it live and it's already maxed the view count out, so that's a good sign.
We literally just put this live like 10 minutes ago, 300 views. That's awesome. All right, so let's take a look at this.
Yeah, it should just be some little bit of skating, a little bit of everything. So it's a little difficult to tell a story in 30 seconds, but we
No.
tried to do our best.
I'm going to subscribe. And
Cool.
we can see how effective this is by checking the number of attendees versus new subscribers after the session.
Definitely check it.
Awesome. So now the channel's all set up. All we had to do was set up the branding in the videos and on the page, organize your content, and then upload the trailer. One other thing I wanted to note here is, so the trailer is great for people who aren't yet familiar with your content, but for people who are already subscribed, the freshest, newest content is always important to them. So they want to see videos they haven't seen yet. So if you want to check out what your channel is going to look like to people who are subscribed, you can use this toggle here, and you'll see that a subscriber will get a personalized recommendation of what they should watch next based on what they've already seen. So that'll be really helpful for getting more views from your subscribers.
Yeah, it looks great. Definitely. I'm really excited. I mean, I can't believe we finally have a layout that's going to work in mobile, which is just totally worth sacrificing the gutters. Absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah, I took some screenshots of, now that we've uploaded the channel art, what it looks like across all 3 devices. So you can now see the contrast between kind of a desktop-only branded channel page versus something that works on all devices.
And TVs.
And TV. Coming soon.
Yes.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Scott.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
It's been great having you guys up here. And
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having us. Yeah.
be sure to check out the original Skateboards Sandbox after this, if you guys have any additional questions for Scott. Okay, so you guys all saw how to set up a channel and get off the ground. Next, I wanted to talk through some ongoing activities that you guys can think about on a weekly basis. So first and foremost, the most important thing you can do on YouTube is make sure you're engaging with your fans. The YouTube audience loves an open line of communication, and they love the fact that they can talk freely with the creators of the content that they love. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that. Here you can see one of my favorite channels, Hyla in the Kitchen, and she famously responds to her comments instantly, and you can see here that she's even getting kudos for that. Think of someone commenting on your video like someone walking into your store. If they have a question for you, you should be able to respond back immediately and help make that sale or help answer whatever question they may have. In addition to commenting on videos, there's also a discussion tab that you can enable right on your channel page. And this is a great place for your fans to be able to leave ideas for you or comments on your channel. And you can see here that Hyla gets tons of ideas for her next video. And so fans will openly give you ideas for your next video. Here she's got recommendations to do gluten-free videos and vegan videos. So thinking of new ideas for videos is hard. And so having this constant stream of ideas coming in from your fans is a really, really helpful resource. And the more you act on that, the more your fans will engage further. So another great way to get your audience involved is through Google+ Hangouts. So some of our creators on YouTube have been using these in really, really creative ways. And I wanted to share 2 of my favorite examples. So this first one, Pocket Now, is a tech reviewing channel. And they do a series every week called You Review, where they'll invite 10 of their audience members or their fans to join in the Hangout, and then they'll all review the same product at the same time. So here, they're reviewing the Galaxy S4. And this is kind of like a modern take on the talk show. And so that's been a really interesting example to see. Another totally different way of using Hangouts is to do user support and Q&A. So one of our channels, Indie Mogul, who targets kind of amateur filmmakers, he does a live Q&A where he'll get some of his fans on who have questions about how to recreate a specific effect, and he'll answer it right then and there and broadcast it on his channel, knowing that there's probably someone else out there who has the same question, and he can help them out too. So it's key that you make sure that you're posting new stuff to your channel page very regularly, because when you post something, it shows up on the homepage of your subscribers, and it makes sure that you're kind of remaining top of mind for the people that are subscribed to your channel. So it's really hard to come up with a new video to upload like every week, or even every other week. So a great way to kind of fill the gaps between uploads and make sure that you're posting fresh content is to curate content. And so you can curate content by liking other people's videos, posting other videos, or even adding other videos to playlists. So GoPro actually does a great job of this. They have a playlist called Fan Favorites, and they will find a new fan video uploaded and created on a GoPro and add it to their Fan Favorites video playlist every week. So I know what you guys are thinking. Of course GoPro can do this. They make a camera, and there's probably lots of user-generated content out there. But it's not only GoPro that does this. I noticed the other day on the Intel channel that they also have a Fan Favorites playlist. And check out the first video in the playlist.
Intel. Sponsors of tomorrow.
So having someone make a video about your brand is the highest compliment you can receive, even if they're replacing your really expensive marketing content with a screaming goat. So you can't be kind of a bitter person about this. You need to join in with the fun and embrace the fact that people are creating user-generated content about your brand. And the YouTube community will really appreciate this and respond well to it. You can even see that here, Intel responded to this uploader kind of in a humorous way. So for those of you who don't know, goats that scream like humans were actually huge on YouTube a couple months ago. And it seemed as though every video that had a goat in it was really successful, and the related video action was pretty good too. So how do you find out about these trends? So we have a resource for that. It's called the Trends Dashboard, youtube.com/trends. And this is a blog that's curated by YouTubers and follows the latest trending topics on the site. And it includes data and also some live examples. So this is a great way to find out what might be resonating with this core YouTube audience. But of course, you don't need to be following the trends in order to be successful on YouTube. Another way to find success is to kind of nurture and understand your niche or core audience. Looking into YouTube analytics is probably the best way to find out who your audience really is. Sometimes you'll be surprised. For example, I recently discovered that on my own channel, I have more viewers in Poland than any other country, so who knew? But there's tons of other really cool reports here. There's demographic report, playback locations, and an audience retention report, which lets you know which parts of your video are most engaging. So this is a really great way to learn what you should be doing more of, or maybe what you should be doing less of. So lastly, I'm going to hand it back over to Lane to talk through a little bit about how you can promote your videos.
Great, so once you've got great content and you've set up your channel, one thing that you may want to do, that businesses often do, is promote their content through paid advertising. So in this case, GoPro is using a format that we released called TrueView InStream. And what TrueView InStream tries to do is balance the need of the user with the advertiser. So you may have noticed these on the site. They've been there for a while. There's a skip button on the ad. So the user gets a choice in the ad experience, right? If they don't like the ad or they're not interested, they just hit skip. And on the advertiser side, they don't actually pay if the user skips. So the advertiser only pays if someone watches the video, which creates the right set of incentives on the site. And there's a really easy way to set this up if you're on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube Video Manager and you're managing your videos, you just click Promote, and you'll be dropped into this little tool. This tool leads you to create an AdWords for Video campaign, and it's a 3-step process. And you tell us what video you want to promote, what audience you want to reach, and what your budget is. And then we'll go out and show this video to those users and help you build a long-term audience of viewers and subscribers.
Great, thanks. So we shared a lot of information with you guys, so I just wanted to recap really quickly. Tips for setting up your channel. Make sure that you're branding your videos and branding your actual channel page. Organize your content in a way that makes it easy for people to browse and find what to watch. Create a trailer so that you can convert unsubscribed visitors to subscribers. And then on an ongoing basis, making sure that you're engaging with your community through comments, discussion, and through Google Plus Hangouts. Curate fan content using likes or playlists to fill the gap between uploads. Making sure you're staying on top of the trends with the Trends Dashboard. Keeping an eye on your numbers through YouTube Analytics to find out who your audience really is. And then also thinking about promoting your videos. So all these tips are really important, but not as important as making sure that you're creating great content, which Lane talked about at the beginning. So content is king on YouTube, and all of these things will help you, get more visibility, but content is really the most important thing. So lastly, we just wanted to leave you guys with a few resources. There's the Creator Hub, which has more case studies and examples of successful stories on YouTube. The Creator Playbook, which has a checklist of basically everything we discussed today and more. Trends Dashboard for finding out what's hot on YouTube right now. And the Ads Leaderboard, which has some really great examples of content from small businesses and marketers that have been successful. And lastly, with /advertise and /dev for both of those audiences. Cool. So last, we just wanted to open it up to questions, and feel free to direct questions at us or also at Scott from Original Skateboards.
And please use the mic.
Hey, so I have a question about promotions. So one of the things I've noticed, both with my own channel and other people who I've helped do some marketing promotion of their channels, is that when you set up a promotional campaign, sometimes it takes days and days before it actually gets approved. Is there any way to speed up that process?
We're very sorry about that.
And it's very unpredictable. Sometimes it's like less than like an hour turnaround, and sometimes it's like almost a week.
So we also noticed this, and we kicked off a whole team that is looking at this within the team. So we have over 3 people working on this right now, and we're about to launch some really cool stuff that will actually speed up that approval process significantly in the coming months.
And so the other thing I've noticed about that is it doesn't seem to matter how much money you're willing to spend, because you can have an AdWords rep for your pay-per-click spend, and it's completely ignored. Like they're 2 separate universes, seemingly.
Yeah, we feel your pain, and we absolutely want to solve that problem. It's in both of our best interests.
With the integration more of the Google Plus assets, Hangout, and so forth, with YouTube, what's the best method to get your subscribers, right, basically hooked into +1U on G+?
So the question is, what's the best way to get a subscriber also hooked into follow on G+? Well, so if you do link accounts, your Google Plus page will automatically be linked to from your channel. So that's a great way to drive people back and forth. To get someone else to follow you on Google Plus, you could use in-video annotations. You could, the best way is usually to ask people in your video to follow you on Google Plus. And you can always link from underneath the video. But the actions currently are still separate, subscribing and following. I forgot to mention, too, on the channel art, that your channel art is actually the same specs as your Google Plus page artwork. So you can use the same image in both locations.
Hey, I'm Mark from Pixability. I'm wondering about an API for promoting videos. Is that coming anytime soon in the timeline? And we can talk about this offline.
Sure. So enabling the features that are involved in an API, things like bulk editing, are certainly something that we care a lot about. I think it's worth mentioning, when you think about AdWords for video, it's still an incredibly nascent platform. So it was launched literally April 2012. So from our perspective, we want to make sure that we're doing a great job for small, medium, large users before we focus on some of those external APIs. One thing that we're launching very soon is CSV import. So you've probably heard this, you're smiling. Yep. So we plan to release this to enable some of those bulk editing functions. An API is certainly something that we're thinking about, but I don't have anything to announce here.
Okay. We're very happy to give you feedback for that API and also to do some beta testing.
I'd be glad to hear that feedback.
Okay. Cheers, thanks.
Because it costs money to create a video, and then I'm interested in ROI.
Yeah, that's a great question. So how many people saw the video that later downloaded? So I'll actually connect you with a mobile person after this, but one of the things that we are thinking about is how to enable people to understand moving from videos into apps and app downloads. That's not a use case that we've nailed yet, I'll be frank with you, but it is, I think that's a case that we should be thinking more about, and I believe there's also something on the mobile side that can be done, but I'd like to. Yeah, certainly you can use things like annotations to drive people to that video. I'm just thinking of actually linking that download back to the specific video view. I'm probably not the expert there.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we're out of time.
A couple of hacks for that would be to provide a unique link in the description, and also buy enough of a promotional campaign so you get the call to action overlay, and then track them that way.
Yeah, certainly a unique URL is a great way to do that.
And Google Analytics recently announced the universal analytics, right? Maybe this could be part of it.
Yeah, it's worth investigating. We're out of time, so let's follow up after. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for coming.